So here's what I want to talk about. I don't even have my notes in front of me, but you know what? You and I both know about Abundance Unleashed. We've been planning this. We've been living by this for years. And so, you know, I don't even need my notes in front of me, and I don't even think you have notes either. So I just want to share that with everyone, because it's like, this is not something that we have to write down and script it. This is exactly how we live our life, you know. And Abundance Unleash is all about bringing the abundance into your life, like opening the doors to where every single day you live an abundant life. And I just want to say, like, what does an abundant life look like for any one of the viewers here? Like, to me, the abundance that you need in your life, what that looks like is when you get up every day and you're grateful and you feel like your life is flowing, your body is flowing, your energy is flowing. And so that's the abundance, where everything you do doesn't mean that everything you do is not going to be, you know, it's not going to be perfect. There's things going to happen. There's going to be detours. There's going to be, you're going to have a bad day, right? But when you're abundant and you have this abundance in your life, you don't process the bad days as a bad day, because you're not spilling over. You're not emotionally spent, physically spent, mentally spent. You're literally experiencing a day that maybe didn't go perfectly, but you're in this abundance. So you just go, okay, sweet, reset. We're going to do it. You're excited. We're going to move forward. We're going to push past this. Or what did this help me learn? Where do I need to shift my energy? Am I here to serve? Do I need to be a support for someone? Do I need support? Right? Because I mean, you have all these aspects, and I'm not going to be the mentor or the coach that's going to come on here and tell you what you want to hear. I want to tell you what you need to hear, right? Like, I'm not going to sit there and say, my life is great. My life is great, right? It is, but it means that there's things that happen in your life, right? You could lose a job. You could lose money. You could change your environment. You could have a health issue. You could be overweight, out of shape, right? You could be struggling with a disability. You could be struggling with mental health. You could be struggling with substance abuse, right? You could be struggling with all these things. And someone might look at you and be like, okay, well, how can you have abundance, Seb? You know, you can. And what I'm here to say, though, is those are the struggles, and we do these things every day to create the abundance in our life, so we can get further away from where we are that is not serving us, and closer to where we want to be that is serving us. And the best thing is, like, Milan, like when I met you, I mean, this was 2017. Milan and I met. I had just moved to South Florida, and I was there for literally a month and a half. And I met Milan probably like 2 weeks into my stay, right? And I remember we connected, and then I told you I'm moving back to Ohio. And you were like, okay, bro. And at the time, well, first of all, meeting you, Milan, it was so easy to connect with you. Like, you were comical at the start. You know, when I walked trying to find you, and you came down and you said, hey, I'm up here, let's go. And you were cracking jokes, and I was like, this guy's great, right? And it was funny because I remember this because it's a pivotal time in my life. I was going through like super success, and then I also was experiencing like the bottom dropping out. Like, you can have success and still have the bottom drop out, where you're lost in life. What am I doing? And that's kind of where I was. And I remember I turned into you and I said, do you want to help me go to Ohio? And you remember what you said?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, man, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yes. And I remember we said, let's have a meeting. And we went to, I had this apartment out there. And remember, we went to the jacuzzi, and we kind of hung out, like just chilling. And we started manifesting and thinking about all the things we're gonna do this year, even though I'm in the middle of this bottom dropout. And you kept challenging me to say, you know, you're going to see something new and something different. And no matter what you're at now, it's going to be the best. And you taught me to just have fun no matter what was going on in my life. And we did that. We did that move. You came up here to Ohio, you helped me move, and then you flew back. And then ever since then, you and I had this bond, and it was all about mentorship, like helping each other, right? Yeah. And I remember, you know, I had, you know, it was a slow grind, because remember, you had came back, I think it was like, what, about a year later, you came back to visit me after I got settled in Ohio, still in a temporary location.
Yes.
And I remember I was going through it, but man, like, I was pushing through, you know. And again, it was also at that time, I would say I was like just at the peak time of my career. And, you know, I was abundantly wealthy with everything I needed. I just didn't have my environment, my home environment where I needed to be. I hadn't bought my house yet, right? And I remember you telling me, you know, like, you just got to stay focused. You just got to keep thinking forward where you want to be and don't worry about where you're at. This is temporary. And so that's when I first experienced the abundance. And I remember you challenged me to say, you know, show up every day and do this. You know, don't just do this when you need something. Practice your abundance, your breathing, your meditation, your mindfulness, your gratefulness every single day. And when I started doing that, literally, I would say within hours, I experienced the abundance unleashed, right? Just come to me, right? Like, and it was to the thing, it was like, it wasn't even a manifestation. It was literally just, I'm in an environment where I'm not really happy, but we're trying to work for something we don't know we're trying to go for. We didn't know we were trying to go for the house. We didn't know what my career was going to take me. We didn't know, you know, what door, you know, we were going to open. But just knowing that I was happy, I was abundant, I was grateful, and I was seeing all the positive in my life, dude, the flood work just happened, the abundance unleashed. And so today I want, you know, obviously bring everyone here to watch this, whether you're watching this live right now with us or you're watching this as a rebroadcast. You know, this is an event that Milan and I have been actually kind of had in our back pocket for years. It's just like, when do we pull the card? You know what I'm saying? And right after we did the unleash your or discover your, what was the last one? I forget. I drew a blank now. I've done so many events. The first one we just did a couple months ago. Why am I drawing a blank? That one. Just discover your ultimate self.
Yeah.
There we are. And when we did the Discover Your Ultimate Self, right after that, I said to Milan, I was like, hey, let's do this Abundance Unleashed. Like, let's pull that card. And I said, let's not perfect it. Let's just go on here and give people what they want and what they need. And so I want to lead us into that because I know, Milan, you got some great stuff to talk about, and I definitely want you to get to that. And I want to share a little bit about where I feel everyone can benefit right now as well. And it does tap into the fact that no matter what's going on in your life, you can choose to be grateful. You can choose to think and forward think where you want to be. And that's where I want a lot of people to start. Because, you know, even I have my mental days, right? I have days because I'm experiencing, content creation burnout, right? I'm working with psychologists, I'm working with mental health experts, I'm working with those people to help me to overcome this burnout. It's a new thing. And, you know, some big YouTubers have experienced this too. And this is something that happens with someone who's creating a lot of content. So obviously I was with some, you know, the top 1%ers, working with a lot of people, individuals like Tony Robbins and Russell Brunson and all these individuals that are really incredible people. And, just having to overperform constantly to get them to where they need to go, get their numbers, get the things going, especially during the pandemic. That's when I was needed the most. And so that created a burnout that I didn't see coming because I was the creative. I was like, there's no way that you could burn me out. Like I got this. This is unlimited. But there is a point where you can reach where you can burn yourself out if you're not refueling. And so I wasn't refueling at the time because I thought, you know, this is a great opportunity in my career. I'm with the right people. But you can't rely on those people. We still have to do our self work. Like you can't show up, even if you were to go hang out with the Buddhist monks, right? Like you're not going to show up there and expect to be recharged by them. You have to spend the time in the ashram recharging. Yeah. And so I want to challenge everybody to make sure you're recharging yourself every day. You're working on yourself every day. And no matter what is going on, and when you get up, just remind yourself a couple things. As of right now in this moment, you're good. Like right now in the present moment, you're good. And from there, start to focus on your breath, which Milan's going to talk about, and pull yourself together to the point where you go, okay, I can create the abundance in my life. I can create that by forward thinking. I can create that by pushing forward in the direction I want to go. And you do that by thinking. And when things show up in your life that doesn't fit with your lifestyle, right, or doesn't fit in your day per se, like I don't have time for that, you have to really focus your thoughts on how you can accept this, move around it, hold it, let it go. And when you get used to that, you know, there's something profound about being stripped away from all the things that you think are important to you in your life. Like, you know, you don't need all the subscriptions. You don't need all of the entertainment. You don't need all the fancy cars, the jewelry, the status quo. When you strip that away from yourself. And you can do this in your manifestation, or you can not do this in your manifestation and not do great gratitude and practice abundance. And you can wait for the universe and life to strip it from you. Because if you're not grateful for these things, life will come by and knock you down and strip it from you. And then you got to reset. And Milan, I feel like you've been through some resets in your life. I've been through several resets in my life where literally you go back to zero, whether that's zero in the bank account or zero in you gained weight again, right? Or you go zero in your social media, you go zero in, your career, right? A whole shift. I've been through enough of these to know that, it's like, bring it on, let's go. All right. Right? But when you're abundant, you steer clear of those obstacles because you're always in the knowing, you're always in the now. And it's so important to do that. And like I said, even I have my days. And when you have your days, don't beat yourself up. When you have a day that's like, you know what, I had a rough, maybe it's a mental day, maybe I didn't do my workout, maybe I binged and ate all the food in the house, right? Or the food I didn't. Or maybe I was on recovery and I drank, right? Like whatever that is, like you have to reset and go, okay, today just didn't work out as I wanted it to. Tomorrow I'll have another chance. And I could try even harder. And I'm good. But don't let yourself say that all the time. Like tomorrow. You got to say, no, I'm going to do this. So this comes to my next thing with abundance. It is, we don't get what we want in life. We get what we must have. And there are two versions of this must. And I learned this when working closely with Tony Robbins. When I'm brought out to work with Tony Robbins as creative strategist and head of productions, and like literally everybody else steps aside, and I come in there and we have to like change the game and do next level things. And so it's nice because, here's a guy I looked up to my whole life. And then when I'm given the stage, when I'm given the opportunity, and when I say stage, I mean in the company, I come in, it's like, okay, I'm here to do business. I'm here to get down to it. And the creativity's got to be there. So there's two different musts. There's the must of, I must have this fit body. I must have this home that I want to manifest. I must have my bills paid. I must get that relationship that I want, right? When you make that kind of must, that's where you obsess over it and you can work at it every single day until it unfolds into your life or until you change or create the lifestyle you want to bring that in. The second must is the must I experience when I'm with Tony Robbins. And that must is, I show up today, the must is in the now. I can't must think something for tomorrow. I must get results right now. Right? I must figure out how to change this and make the shift or make sure all this stuff comes together and to capture the moment the best way it can. Or, like what next level idea can I give this big dude with giant teeth to go out there and rock the stage, right? Because he's hired people to take the hat that he doesn't have to wear anymore to make must happen. So I learned about the now must, and the now must is important. Like if you're sitting here thinking about, I should work out, I want to work out. No, I must work out. And you're going to go over there and bust out some push-ups or some crunches. Or you know what, I must eat healthier food. You're going to go upstairs and you're going to grab the fruits and the vegetables, right? Or you're going to go upstairs and you're going to throw away the ho-hos, the Oreos, right? You're going to throw away the junk food right in the trash, right? That's the must. Or it's calling someone and saying, hey, I love you. I care about you. I want to let you know this. Or I want to squash whatever this is. Or I want the job, sending the email. I hear so many people talking about, I want to write a book. I want to do this. Even with writing a book, the must starts in the now. There's the two musts, and you can bring them together. The first must is, I want to write a book. Well, I'm obsessing over it, and I'm going to write this book. Well, you can do the first must right now, and that is pull out a piece of paper and start drafting out chapters, right? And every single day, you start working at this. In 30 days, you might have a whole book. And I've written a book in 30 days. So you might have a whole book, right? Same with like, in 30 days, how fit can I be if I start busting out on these weights? In 30 days, how much more energy will I have if I start doing yoga and walks every day? Maybe I can only do a mile. In 30 days, if I increased it, maybe you're doing 10 miles after 30 days. So I just want us to understand that things don't just happen in our lives if we don't reach for them. We could talk about the life we want all we want, but until we actually write it down, make it real, make it a must, obsess over it, and then reach for it, that's how we get what we want in our life. And everything that I've wanted, even this hat that's embroidered with glows in the dark, right? Like ZTFILMS was something that I was like, I must create a vehicle to get my family and myself the income and the opportunities and the adventures. And the best way to do it is to go get a camera, put my skills to the work, go out there and add massive value. And so I made it a must. And because of that must, I've been able to go all over the world meet incredible people, get the opportunity to work with Tony Robbins and other great people, and then shift gears in the entertainment business, create movies, create opportunities for others, feed my family. You know, all this stuff happened in this hat. You know, it was like, I need something. I don't need a business card. I need to wear it, right? So I was like, I must get a hat. Searching the hat. And then I was like, now I'm going to make it happen. And I reached out and I said, let's get that hat ordered. So I have like 200 of these so, because I go through them every time I'm like on an event. Some happens to it or I wear it out. So, but I just do that because I want everyone to be inspired by the must. And again, it's not about money. Abundance is not about having abundance of money. The abundance to me, and same with manifestation, and also, you know, like to have wealth, true wealth and abundance is good health, happiness. Your family's got good health, happiness. You do have the abundance of financial freedom and of money. You have the right ideal career or job, or you've created this lifestyle for yourself that makes you happy. That to me is the wealth. That to me is the abundance. Because, you know, what is life and wealth, money, if you don't have good health? And what is good health if you don't have good money? Because then you can't go enjoy your life as much as you want to be. You deserve it. So many people have negative anxious to money. They don't think they don't deserve this. You do deserve it. But remember, some people think that they need to have millions of dollars, and really they only need $60,000, $70,000 income. And that's obtainable. 100% attainable. You can do this, especially in this day and age. Listen, me and Milan were hustling back in the days before any of this type of technology was even big. And we were able to, that was the grind. That was the real grind. And there's pros and cons. There's some things we were able to hustle that make things easy because it wasn't all broadcast on the internet. And so we were able to really go and get it done. And then there's other things that was like, oh man, I wish I had this exposure online because it would have been so much easier. But I just want to bring that up because if you want to have abundance in your life, Milan and I are here to help you get that abundance. But it starts with you internally. Just like you can't go to the monks and become a monk, you have to practice on yourself. I need you to be in the ashram, right? I need you to be working on yourself. Maybe shave your head. I know, don't do that if you don't have. But I'm saying, like, but whatever it is you need to do to get in balance. And like, I even got these beads, right? I was out of balance and I was like, you know what? I need to get some beads, whatever that is. Maybe it's a necklace. Maybe it's a hat. Maybe it's a new wardrobe change. Maybe it's getting your hair did, right? Whatever that is, you need to set yourself up and get in a zone. So I want to turn this over to Milan because Milan, I know you have so much to say with the breath work and the abundance, and I want to hear a little bit about that as well. But take it away, man.
Yeah, so 100% on everything you said. You were talking about the mindset
Yes.
that we want to remind ourselves mentally. And when you're talking about wealth, to me, my main passion is holistic health. So I'm a practitioner, and therefore I'm able to facilitate and hold space for people, whatever holistic health practice they're interested in. If I can't help them, I'll find someone that can.
Yes.
So for me, holistic health first starts with physical health. So there is, I don't know if it's a saying or not, but it goes around, when you're healthy, you have 1,000 problems or wishes. When you're sick, you only have one. To get well again, right? So for me, especially in this world, in today's world, where everyone's talking about mindfulness, yoga, meditation, prayer, where people are going super esoteric, even with conspiracy theories. Like, there are many of these, what you would call conspiracy theories, that I believe are true, but my main point right now is everyone's up here mentally thinking and constantly thinking. So in this age of fake news and misinformation, we want to leave the thinking aside, and we want to what I like to say, this is also very important, so I don't want to steer off topic, but everything everything that is outside of my direct experience is highly uncertain, and I even question my direct experience regularly. Okay.
That's repeat that. That's great.
Everything that is outside of my direct experience is highly uncertain, and I even question my direct experience regularly. So in today's day where you don't know what's real, what's not real, you have to leave the mental, which to me, holistic health starts with the physical, and then the mental health is second. But starting with the physical, like I want to, like, let me just mention, because I want to talk about this first step first, since we're going to talk about the breath, the breathing. Number one, physical, and only when you start feeling that you're even remotely gaining physical health, only then you can start thinking about mental health. Because if your body's not healthy, your mind will not be healthy.
So true.
And then, like, I want to say that then the third step or the third aspect is relationship health. Whatever relationship you have, no matter what it is, mother, father, spouse, brother, friends, colleagues, whatever. And then the fourth one is the financial health, which you touched base on. It's a part of holistic health. There's, unfortunately, some people that do not take what you said in the right way, because you said money is not everything. It is absolutely true. It is not everything, but it's definitely an aspect of health. You can't going around with a belief saying, "Oh, money is the root of all evil. I don't need money." For a lot of people, they do this unconsciously, of course, right? But that's why it's important to mention this. And only after we cover these four steps, the physical, mental, relationship, and financial, only then can we properly start delving into the spiritual health, the spiritual realm, where everyone's talking about spirituality, burning sage and chakras and whatnot. I'm like, okay, like, have you moved today? When was the last time you sweat? Is your breathing okay? When was the last time you took a break from thinking? When was the last time you took a break from your phone, from people around you, from anything? You know, like I absolutely believe, like, a lot of these stories about spirituality. Obviously, I mentioned chakras, yoga, a lot of these different traditions, not just Buddhism and Hinduism. I personally believe, from what I've studied so far, all different traditions. Notice how I use the word tradition rather than religion, because every religion, religion in itself is not bad. Every religion is based on a tradition. That's why I choose the word tradition. If there's anything bad with religion, is the indoctrinating aspect that tells us it's nothing wrong for you to think that your religion or tradition is the best for you. That is beautiful, and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
The thing is, first starting, like, I'm better than others, like, and then I should be, and then ultimately, like, what's Nazism, I'm the only one that matters, and I should just kill everyone else. Yeah. So this is why the word tradition. So in many different traditions, in Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, and even like smaller, like shamanic traditions, tribal traditions, all around the world, there's a little bit of truth to them. So coming back to the point, the topic. In all of these traditions, there have been four practices that are interesting to me. Breathing exercises, meditation, prayer, and fasting are the pretty much similarity between most of the traditions that I've studied so far. So meditation, prayer, fasting, these are a little bit advanced. Start with breathing. Something that we do whether we like it or not. Whether you like it or not, you're doing it. Are you at work? Are you by yourself? Are you sleeping? Are you making love to your partner? Whatever. Are you eating? If you're eating, everything. So, unfortunately, partially due to social media destroying people's attention span, like bringing it down to like 15 seconds, when we talk about breathing, people just turn off because it's way too simple. It happens. Why should I pay attention to something that's already happening? Well, what if I tell you that once you start, not only like first, like how you get the first thing in being more conscious of a breather, you start doing a breathing exercise every day. 5 minutes a day is enough. Uh, uh, the first thing is that, and what you said, it's work, man. It's work. Like if you don't do it for yourself every day, no one's gonna do it for you.
Yeah.
And I really want to touch base with the first thing that I think was relevant when you started talking about abundance.
Yes.
Is abundance of energy and willpower, because I see a lot of people that they kind of have the right mindset in a way, like they know that they should be grateful, right? They know that they should work out. They know that all these shoulds, but they just somehow cannot make themselves to actually do it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
This is why I feel right now that that what I want to talk about is this abundance of energy or willpower, and maybe that's the same thing. Like for me, if there's one thing, bro, that I've never had issues with, it is exactly this. And I can also tie discipline in right there.
Yeah.
So but again, maybe it's because for the past 8 years, I haven't skipped a day of my morning practices, which include breathing exercises. So maybe it's that. Would I be the same if I wasn't doing them this often? I don't know.
But I feel so, and I want to tap in here because I know that like when we geared up for the last challenge, that's when I started to write down like what are some of the things that I feel that people need to start off the year with. And in the Discovering Your Ultimate Self challenge we did, like that was really about something simple that we can all do at home. And I had to evaluate what I was doing. And because I evaluated what I was doing, because I turned it around and looked at myself and said, what am I actually doing that other people could benefit from? Because we don't like to always share or talk about what we're doing, what's our secret. And I always tell people, don't be so social about the things that matter most to you in your life, right? I learned that a long time ago. But it doesn't mean that we can't share some insights to help other people overcome hurdles. And so what I noticed is me doing my, obviously not everyone has a sauna, right? But I have a sauna. Right. And so I go in my sauna, but I do a yoga, I do a sauna, and then I do the cold plunge. And that was a good start for everyone. But I tell you what, before I was doing the cold plunge and the sauna, I was doing yoga, meditation, and running. And I felt really, really good. But when you have something else that kind of challenges you that you don't look forward to, but you do it anyways, that is where the discipline comes in. That is where life starts to happen for you. Yes, at least it was for me.
Exactly.
Because like literally, like I'll go and do something, and if I don't like to do it, guess what? I'm going to be here until I like to do it. Right? Yep. And every day I don't like getting cold. But you know what? I'm like, now I'm just like, if I don't do it, I feel like why not? I didn't challenge myself today. So absolutely we need something that we could do every single day, like a ritual and routine that won't be interrupted by anybody. Listen, no one can shake me and say you can't go to the shower, a cold shower, because guess what? If you turn on the cold shower and guess what? Maybe the heater's not working. It's already cold water. I just need it to be a little bit colder, right? So that, it's different to say, oh, I'm going to take a hot shower today. Guess what? Someone can turn the heat off and now I don't have hot water. They can change that. But I can go anywhere and get cold. If I need to, I'll go down to the river, right? Like you can find a way to get cold, okay? So, do something that no one's going to disrupt or change that. Yep. No one's going to stop you from going out there and doing deep breathing, right?
Yep.
So I wanted to add that. Go ahead.
It is interesting what you said. Once you start doing like the key concept is beneficial discomfort. Mm-hmm. Like not like taking a torch and like burning your arm, like discomfort. Yeah. Talking about working out, like cold plunge or like whatever, And it is very interesting that once you start doing the beneficial discomfort or like these practices, it's very weird to connect it, but that is when you start being disciplined with these practices, that's when like stuff feels like it opens up. You feel like you're getting new ideas, or there's new people approaching you with different opportunities. This is exactly the same for every single person that I've heard that they're talking about their success. Also, what I mentioned is I've never met or I've never seen a successful person that spoke about themselves that does not have a steady morning practice, a morning ritual.
I spent half a year with Tony Robbins, right? Like, he's got rituals and routines that no one knows about. That's intense. That is awesome. And I had that privilege of having that experience. And that's what's nice. That's why Milan and I are sharing this with everyone too, because you could take a little bit of mine. You could take a little bit of Milan's. You could take, like, I took a little bit of Tony's, right? Like, it's for me, right? We can go around and see what people are doing. Go to the gym. Like, go to the gym and sit there. Don't even have to work out. Just sit there. Go to, like, whatever gym's next to you. Probably got a Planet Fitness somewhere. Right? Go to a gym and sit down and watch what someone's doing. You're going to see people doing stretching differently. You're going to see people stomping their feet, picking up weight. They do something before they pick up that weight, right? Maybe they're doing the salts, or maybe they're on the treadmill and they start off slow, right? But there's so many different things, and those are all rituals, routines to get someone ready for what they're about to do. Imagine you take this dude over here who's stomping, picks up the weight. Now you're doing that. And then you take this girl over here who's doing a stretch, and you're like, I'm going to do that. You can literally take these routines and make them your own. And that's what's so nice about it, because this is abundance, man. Like, there's people that have it and there's people that don't. The only reason the people that don't have it because they haven't practiced, but the people that do have it, they'll do the same thing.
Exactly. And that is really, like, I want to, like, also, like, kind of direct myself back to the point, the abundance of energy and willpower. Mm-hmm. This is why I'm so passionate about breathing exercises. And this is the first step in my own course, the Milan V method, or I might change the name of that. But the point is, the breathing exercise is so simple. Like, the very tool that you can use. Like, I love going down to the main thing. Mm-hmm. Is like giving the people what they can do for themselves, by themselves, that is simple and short, and that they can incorporate in their day, no matter how busy they are. 5 minutes of the breathing exercises that we also did in our previous event that we did with Charlotte, the 5-minute breathing exercises. Yeah. Once you start discipline with that every day, even if it's 5 minutes, people think, oh, it's breathing, oh, it's 5 minutes. How can it possibly change everything? There is this book, The Compound Effect, but like the concept of like daily doing it every day, and then a week, month goes by, 2 months. Imagine how you're gonna be, like how different you're gonna be, how healthier you're gonna be after 6 months or a year of doing it. It's 5 minutes a day, and that is how you directly gain calmness. The main benefits of breathing exercises: calmness, so less stress, mm-hmm. more being able to sit and to observing with more clarity of thinking, so better decision making, and also energy.
Yeah,
go through with the ideas that you get and the decisions that you make. Needless to talk about, like, other benefits like the immune system and strengthening the heart and the lungs. I can talk about breathing the whole day.
Well, imagine that everyone starts doing the breathing just because they want to set a routine for themselves. They want to kind of shift their state a little bit, and they do this for a month or a couple weeks, or maybe even a year. They a full year nonstop, and then they just realize all these extra health benefits that they didn't even know they were doing, and they did it. They got it anyways. Like, that's the same thing with abundance. Like, when you manifest your stuff, like, you might be manifesting that ideal job, but you got such in the vortex, right, of this stuff, that you experience the abundance, and you got more than just the job. Now you got the job, the money, you're happy, you have more focus in your life, you have a purpose now. Like, things shift. Like, you can change your situation just like that, and it really just takes a mental shift, a shift of going, you know what, I'm done with this. I want that. I don't even have to know how I'm going to get that. I don't have to have the blueprint or the plan. I just know that's where I'm going, and that's what fuels me. Is when I look at something, I'm like, hey, you know what? There's a wall right there. That's cool. I'm running through that thing. I'm going to run through that baby, right? Because once I blow through that wall, because what I want is on the other side of that, and nothing's going to stop me from doing that. And it doesn't mean that some days I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I don't tell myself that. I don't sit there and go, I don't know if I can run through the wall. I go, you know what? Even if I can't run through the wall, I'm not going to tell myself maybe I can't do it. I just do it anyways. Because you know what happens when you do it? You might get halfway through the wall and fall down. And you're like, wow, get back up, move a little bit more. Now you're all the way through it. So it's the same thing with life. You got to push through those self-sabotage, the regrets, or the overwhelms, right? And here's the beautiful thing about abundance and manifestation is it will never overwhelm you. It will never exhaust you. This isn't like I'm going to go pump a bunch of iron and weights and run that hill and I'm going to be tired at the end of that. Like, it's not going to even mentally exhaust you. This is going to recharge you the more you put time into it. And if there's any investment in life that you should be investing the most into, it is this. It is your own manifestation, your own abundance for you, because that is something that you get back. Like, that is tenfold benefiting you, your life, and the ones around you, and you deserve it.
Exactly. It's and what you said, we're not designed to know exactly how things are going to go in life. We're simply not designed that way. We're designed to operate in the present moment. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely do believe it is very healthy and natural to have a light framework of a plan and a course of action. Mm-hmm. But like step one, or like take the step, focus on the step that you're here right now. And the point is, even if you do not get what you are planning to get, taking these steps towards what you want to get is definitely going to lead you to a more mature and evolved version of yourself. And that deals with that abundance. It is not something that you either have or you don't have. It's something that you either tapped into or not. It is always present.
Yes.
It is present. It is not something that's it's inseparable. Like, and this is why, like science and quantum physics, on a subatomic level, there's no such thing as separation. Everything is probability waves. That means that like everything is just this big one blob of potentiality, meaning that we are all connected, that everything is now present. And it's about that. That's why it's so complex to try and pinpoint the most important aspect of the truth or of human existence. But with all of these challenges that I just mentioned, what I found is this: 5 minutes of breathing exercise every day. This is the closest that I've got to actually, and I know I repeat this so often, but I'm like, guys, this has changed my life. I quit drinking and smoking and going out, and I totally not only accepted, but through the years embodied my purpose. Mm-hmm. Which some days money is not on the high. Some days you're feeling like you're losing money or friends or people or whatever. But this thing, this purpose, this authentic path of yours, I can't even, there's no rigid structure of explaining how anyone in any individual person's way purpose should be. This is why this is so beautiful, mm-hmm. that at any given moment you choose. This is why
bring it back to the breath, right? Be like even when we're doing just a simple yoga, if the stretch or the pose is too challenging, they always say what? Focus on your breath. Bring it back to the breath. And I feel like the same thing in people's lives right now. There's probably a lot of people watching this, and they're listening, or wherever you're at in your world or your life, right? You're thinking about a lot of things that had to do with the past, right? And you think about getting in a car and drive that car forward, looking in the rear view. You're going to run into something, or drive that car looking so far into the sunset, you're going to run into something, right? And that's where you got to put yourself in the present moment, and you got to say, okay, I have the vehicle. We're going to drive somewhere. We're going to go where we want to go. We don't know where we're going, but we're going to enjoy this ride. And as we do that, we're going to create the life we want. And that's the abundance. And I had this mistake a lot of time too before. I was putting a dollar amount to my money. I was putting a cap and a ceiling to my career. And I did that by simply going, oh, I want to make 50,000.
Yeah.
Right. Well, guess what? You'll make 50,000, but that might be it.
Yeah.
Instead, you go, I want an abundance of money that flows through, that be able to serve my community, serve the people around me, supports me, fills my foundation, builds my empire, right? And same thing with my career. I don't want to just say, oh, I just want to be the best.
Yeah.
Because there's a cap to that. I want to explore. I want to have an adventure. I want to go across industries. I want to go left, right, up, and down, right? I want to do it all, right? And when you start seeing your life that way, don't just say, oh, I want to be fit body. No, you want to have a sound mind, fit body. Maybe it's a healthy body, right? Of course it's a healthy body, but maybe you want stamina too. You don't want to just be a big old chunk of meat, right, with all muscle, right? You might not be able to run anywhere. So it does go back to the breath and the now, and everything you move forward is reminding yourself to stay in the present. That's why the breath is so important with abundance and manifestation, because it aligns us back to the now. We can't drift too far with that.
So before we go on with this, do you think we have any questions? Because I can't access that.
It's funny because I'm looking at this too, and I'm like, I can't really see the comments because my phone has to be this way, and it blocks all that out. So here's what I'll say.
Having today. So
yes. Well, that's the thing. This is a fine example of of us. Like me and Milan were like, yo, we're gonna test the live stream before we go on a separate group. We did it. We're having all these problems. All right, we're gonna downgrade technology. Just go to our phones. That wasn't working. I'm like, let's just do this. And so here we are. So we will get to your questions after the event. We'll go through and look at any of your questions, and we'll follow this for the next couple of days. And if you have anything, we're here for you. But go ahead.
It is. I mentioned the complexity of like trying to pinpoint a single most important aspect of existence, but just being silent and with the breath. Obviously, like, this might sound a little metaphysical to people, but again, like, I've been doing this for breathwork specifically for the past 6 years, every single day. Like, if you're able to just sit by yourself and to switch that focus to the breathing, especially if you're breathing silently and slowly and fully and calmly, lightly, not only is there nothing wrong with this present moment, you ultimately, what you gain through not only breathing exercises, but with a healthy lifestyle, like working out and nutrition and everything, you are actually going to start being able to feel physical pleasure by the simple act of breathing properly. And ultimately, this is what I believe. I believe everything that we do for the purpose of feeling good about ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're able to simply feel good about yourself by breathing and not doing or thinking anything or saying anything, like, this is, to me, this is a pretty sustainable and healthy and joyous lifestyle.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It
doesn't cost any money.
Yeah. And you can imagine if you take this way of being into your doing, you can't go wrong. You keep knocking. That's why I heard from this friend of mine, you just keep knocking on doors. You're tapped into the abundance. You're tapped into the limitless source of energy, which we are, right? And you're going to keep going because you're going to feel like, you want to either try things or change things. This is why this is so beautiful, because no matter where you are at, if you start with the breathing exercise, so I said, like, tapping into this abundance of yours, no matter where you're at, you're going to start getting ideas. Somehow people are going to come, or people are going to leave. Opportunity is going to come. Situations, jobs might come, but jobs might leave. This is why some people say that the path, walking your path of purpose and authenticity, can be hard and uncomfortable, because we develop attachments through our life to people, jobs, and whatnot, etc. And this is why it also, in Buddhism, for example, they talk about the concept of attachment and why it's so good to be able to connected to everything, attached to nothing. Obviously, this is an ideal, and if you have family, attachments are, especially in this current period of time that we're living in as a society and civilization, absolutely natural to have attachments to people and things. So this is why I really like to talk about, even though, like, some some MIT professors are saying that there's no such thing as objective reality anymore. Don't get scared by this. I still think that in the way of how we're speaking, there absolutely is something that we can call like reality. And that's why I like talking about the breath. Because if you're breathing lightly and calmly, you are okay. And it is a fact.
Yeah.
So having this is another reason why I think the importance of why morning rituals are so important, because the nature of existence is uncertainty. We're not even designed to predict or to control. Right. So in all of this uncertainty, the only certainty that you can have in life is your morning practices, that you know you're going to do it and you're going to feel good about it. So that's no matter what, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but you know the first thing when you wake up, what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And this is the step one, no matter what you want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for example, with your family, if you want to be a loving parent, a responsible parent, you have to, unfortunately, there are some people that don't have this. So, but in my opinion, if you want to be a responsible parent, tomorrow, your kids have to have a certainty. They have to have certainty that they're going to have food on the table, roof over their head. They're not going to have that if you are not certain that you are going to have that. Because you can't provide for your families if you can't provide for yourself. Mm-hmm. So tying it into like this, also like with like financial freedom or success. Financial success comes if in continuity you are making money that is more than enough for you to sustain yourself and your family.
Yeah, and that's when it comes into the same thing as that people they know that they're going to eat today, right? There's people that just know they're going to eat, like without a shadow of a doubt. They don't know what they're going to eat, but they just know they're going to go get food.
Yes.
It's the same way with, you just get to the point where you know, I have money. I have this opportunity. I know I'm going to do this today. And it's that certainty that you need to have in your life that balances the uncertainty that you have in your life. Because there is so much uncertainty, but without the uncertainty, we wouldn't have the drive we need to get off our butt and start moving, right? And showing up to life more, right? Like, here's your life, right? But when you show up, you deserve to get more back, right? We can go through life and just sit around and do nothing and whatever, or we can go in the grind and do what everybody wants us to do and be the cattle that's herded and just do what they want us to do, whatever that is, whatever you're at mentally with that. Or you can say, you know what, I deserve more if I show up. I can be more if I put in the work. I can, sky's the limit.
Yes.
But it just doesn't happen if you don't challenge yourself to do those things. And like, I didn't have to take all the opportunities I did in my life and my career. Some of those opportunities required me to face fears to do those things. Some of them said, hey, I got to spend a long time away from home. I'm going to be uncomfortable. I'm taking myself out of my comfort zone. But man, on the other side of the comfort zone, did I feel amazing. And then when you get further away from it, you go, I kind of like this. And then you become like a thrill seeker. And then you're like, I love the uncertainty of what is going to unfold because I'm on a path, right? We can still be on a path and know our purpose and have all this uncertainty in and around us because we're on this path. And that means what we face the fears and the uncertainty and the challenges, and we convert those into things that become our empire, our accolades, our success stories, our memories, and our moments of triumph in our life. Who doesn't want to get a victory? And I challenge everyone who attended the last, not just watched, but actually attended the ultimate Discovering Your Ultimate Self challenge we did a few months ago. How many of you are still on that path to doing the same things? How many of you fell off? It's okay if you fell off. It's okay if you stopped doing it. But if you did do it, and if you did fall off, are you going to get back to it? Those things that we all laid down, that I talked about, that Shar talked about, that you talked about, all that stuff, if you applied it, you would be so much further. And you probably are if you did do
that. Yeah, it really is that. And yeah, man, I really want to keep adding value, man. Like what's coming to me right now is probably some of you know who Jordan Peterson is. Mm-hmm. A very, very, very good thing. I really like to learn simple ways of adding value to people, or simple hacks. like what he says that never failed him in helping people is, for example, if you're starting a new habit, let's say you want to work out every day for, I don't know, half hour, or even if it's not every day, even if it's like 3 times a week, whatever. Let's say, for the purpose of an example right now, let's say you want to start reading every day for an hour, okay? And then days go by, and then you catch yourself, you're not able to, you're falling short, right? Cut it into half. Let your
Nice, yes.
goal be half-hour reading every day. Worst case scenario, if you're still falling short, cut it into half again. And most probably like 50 minutes a day, it's not a lot. You are able to do it for days and weeks and stuff, and it's a habit. And when you solidify a habit, you might want to be like, okay, I want to read half-hour a day, and then you can start bringing it up, So this concept is, I believe, very healthy. It already, a friend of mine started like applying it to his life, and really like made a huge differences in his life. So it's just existence is very, in one hand, mysterious, and you have to find your way of living joyously, successfully, and healthily in a healthy way by showing up, by doing. You will not figure out what you're supposed to be doing if you're just sitting on your ass watching TV all day.
Absolutely. Well, and I want to add to this. So the first thing that you must get down, right, is the breathing, what Milan's talking about.
Yes.
I think the second most beneficial thing that you can apply to your life right now is that, I should say, habit that you can apply right now. Get in the habit of doing it right now, right? Like, how many people sit there and be like, oh, I should work out today.
Yes.
Or I don't have 10 minutes to work out, but they've complained about it for 20. Take half of that and go work out, right? So it's the same thing with, like, so many people focus on the problem. We need to put more of the time that we spend on the solution and not the problem. We talk about the problem all day long.
Oh, yeah.
But when you get hungry for the solution, like when I walk in a room and I'm dealing with business executives or CEOs, and they're all like, oh, we lost this month. Like, that's cool. We already know what is going on in the company. Okay, now I'm going to focus on the solution. What solutions do you have? They have no solutions. And I'd be like, how many problems do you know about? And they can go on all day for problems. So it's about shifting and going, what's the solution? Like, if you're out of shape, right, and you want to get in shape and you want to be fit, you know what the solution is? Healthier food, exercising, right? If you're having a mentally exhausted day, you know what the solution is? Getting away from the situation you're in if you can, or waiting till later to get away from it, and then resting, resetting your body, resetting your mind. Don't overcrowd yourself mentally. Don't spill over, right? Or you've gone through some traumatic events. Don't relive those events. Don't allow yourself to go there. You might think about it. Okay, it's making me feel uneasy. I'm going to deliberately put what I'm doing down because something's causing me to think this way and drift a little bit. And I need to go back to my breathing, or I need to go entertain myself with something else, spend some time with a friend, call a buddy, whatever that is. We have the power to control our mind instead of the mind controlling us. It's our mind, not it. We're not its mind, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we own that. So we have to be able to control that. And that's what we do have control over, because we don't have control over a lot in our life. I can tell you that. But we do have control over our thoughts, our feelings, our emotion, our responses to things. And, Sean Stevenson was a good friend of mine. I don't know if you remember him or whatever. He's the 3-foot giant. He passed away just before COVID. But, man, that gentleman was so uplifting, empowering, and he was confined to a wheelchair, right? He was born with, I forgot what it was called, but, like, he was so positive with everything in his life. And he would always say, you know what? He goes, all those doctors and psychologists that said I would never be here, he goes, I'm here and they're not. He outlived them, right? And he did it because he focused on what he was doing. And from what his wife said, because he had an accident, and what it was is he just somehow he fell out of his wheelchair and hit his head. So he went into a coma. I had a brain injury on that. And he didn't end up making it through that. But from what his wife said, the last thing he said was, this isn't happening to me, it's happening for me. And he used to always say that in his life. And that's very challenging for someone to say in that moment. But he chose to say that. And his wife relayed that message to everybody. And I thought that was that was just profound. And if we just take a little bit of what Sean Stevenson had lived his life to be about, his purpose on this planet, go look him up. 3-foot giant, Sean Stevenson, amazing dude. And I can tell you, he said one thing at an event, and this event, I think out of all the things he's ever said, this one stuck with me the most. And he said that when rescue helicopters come to save people from the water, right, they got to fly to you, right? They got to fly to you to get you out of the water, right? But you have to sit there and you have to let them come to you, right? And you can find this on YouTube somewhere. I'll try to find a link and post it, because obviously I won't do it justice compared to what he said. But he said, just like in life, he goes, all those people, like when you're the helicopter and you fly up, and if there's people in the water and need help, they swim to the helicopter. They have to swim to you. The helicopter can't go to you. They have to go to a spot, and then you have to swim to get it, right? Because they need the help, right? And they're coming to you to help them. So think about this. Maybe all the people that are coming to you, maybe they're coming to you because those are the people that need your help, right? Like they're swimming to you. They're not swimming away from you. They're swimming to you. So we have to think about those things in our lives. Like, how many people in our life are actually swimming to us? We don't realize that. How many people can we serve around us? We don't have to be the big gurus or the big celebrities to make an impact in our community. I mean, sometimes it's as simple as someone's having a moment in the store, you go to them and help them out, or you reach out to your community and see what you can do to clean it up, or you reach out to someone that you don't know and you figure out how you can make their life better. I mean, that's what's driven my career and my life to total abundance, is the fact that I love when I run into people and they're just like overwhelmed with stuff. And I'm like, how can I help you? Now, how can I take one of these hats off? And listen, in the business world, that's easy to do. These local businesses, it's a family-owned business or someone, an entrepreneur, and they're wearing 50 million hats. And I walk in there, I'm like, I could take at least 5 or 10 of these hats off of you, and I can help you with that. And they're just like, oh my gosh, because they feel underappreciated, undervalued, and they feel like they're just not enough, right? And same with entrepreneurs, and the celebrities, they feel the same thing. Everyone's like, well, how did this celebrity check out? How did they commit suicide, right? Well, they have everything they want, right? Well, I can tell you this: when you get to the top, it's lonely at the top, and when you have abundance of money and abundance of success in your life, if you haven't planned anything else in your life to do and you've reached all those success goals, you're going to be sitting down trying to figure out what to do with your life. I did that twice in my life. I hit my life goals twice, and I never thought I could. And so I stopped chasing the goals because I already had accomplished so much. It doesn't mean I have other goals. I have other goals. But I said, you know what? It's not about the goals. Because when I hit those goals, I was like, now what? Like, what do I do with this? It's like, I didn't plan for another goal after that. And because I didn't think I could hit it, and I did. So when you have that abundance, it's going to give it all to you. So you got to enjoy the journey. So now I'll talk about, I'm going to go on this goal setting journey, and I'm going to enjoy the process from here to there. I don't know how to get there, but man, I'm excited for the adventure, and I'm all in. And when you do that, when you hit the goals throughout your life, you can get multiple goals or whatever. And when you don't hit them, whatever, you're enjoying the journey. So I would say enjoy. Same with weight loss, right? You want to lose some weight? Maybe you don't lose the 40, 50 pounds in the next 5 months. But you know what you could do? You could enjoy the whole process. And maybe when you got to weigh in, you find out that you only lost 2 pounds. But you know what? Man, I've had a journey. We're going to try even harder, right? But if you get to losing 50 pounds, you did not enjoy that 50 pounds you lost, you're going to be like, and you're probably just going to gain it right back. So definitely got to enjoy the journey in life. Like everything we do. Like I was excited to get on here tonight and talk to everybody. And I didn't know how the marketing was going. I didn't know who's going to be in this. I don't know who's going to take the time to listen to us, right? Why would I listen to us, right? They might be like, oh, this guy's got small social media following, but they don't realize how many people I've been involved in, and not the people that I've helped, the people who've helped me. Yeah. We can learn something from so many people. You know what I've learned? In Florida, you get this a lot because it's warmer, right? You have a lot of homeless people in Florida.
Yes.
And whatever the reason they may be homeless for, several reasons. But I've learned when I was back in 2003, I was out there. That was when I was a lot younger, right? And I learned so much profound intelligence and information from people who had nothing. And I had more than they did. And when I went out, I'd listen. Like I turned my ears on, like, well, let's see what they got to say. And I sat with them. And I learned so much about life on a different level. And it made me appreciate the things that I did have. And it also made me not worry so much because I was like, you know what? I have the ability to change these things. And someone just shared me a blueprint of what not to do, right? In your life. And so don't look at people's social media, people who they are, things that they're doing, and think that they can't show you anything. You could learn a lot. I mean, how much do we learn from kids? Go outside and turn your ear to the youth, right? If you're over the age of, of not being a kid, you know what I'm saying? If you're definitely in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and up, I guarantee you can be reminded or learn something new from the youth. And it's a beautiful thing when you do, because they really just open you up, because you know what? They just have this abundance of energy and life and the world. They see it differently, and they haven't been jaded or scorned or seen the destruction. They don't buy into the media like a lot of us are triggered to do, or we've fallen into the trap of social media, whatever that is. And so the youth look at that and they go, wow, that's amazing. Like, it's okay to be different. It's okay to not have it all. Like, think about it. Kids just want to have toys. Kids just want to have fun. Kids, they're not interested in making money. Let's go do this. Let's go do yard work today. What for? Are we going to pay? No, they're like, because we get to break the ground and we get to do some cool stuff. And like, it has nothing to do with money. And I think that we need to get back to that point where we're living abundance before the money is even there. And then when you get the money, you won't end up like these celebrities or these people that feel jaded or they fall off. You won't feel so deeply depressed, and you won't fall in that rut. And that's coming from experience.
Yeah, man, because in that sense, like, kids, what you said, they do it, they do whatever they're doing because it's fun for them. But like, as you grow older, as reality comes in and you start, having to pay your bills and whatnot, like it's what you said. Ideally, I obviously, like, you have a job, you have to pay the bills, okay. But a general mindset, ideally, don't focus on the money. Focus on what you can do to add value to people, and that will bring you money. Because this is something that I really, really think is important. And in a way, I believe this is maybe the most important, if we're singling out a phenomenon. I don't even know how to verbalize it, but the most important phenomenon within my concept of holistic health is the occupation that you're doing. If you don't hate it, first that, right? And then you're kind of enjoying it, you're having fun, and in a way it's adding value to people. If you're doing what you're enjoying and it's adding value, and that is able to pay your bills, you have arrived to, I believe, where life is supposed to be for everyone. It is literally what you said, enjoying that process, because even a human being, we're not a being, we're a process. We continuously change. Like, there's so many 50 trillion cells, the body, like everything is
absolutely
all the time. But this, obviously, like everything we spoke, the breathing, the exercise, the lifestyle and stuff, these are all important like aspects of holistic health. But if you're actually waking up every day and you have this occupation, even if it's not like your main source of income, even if you're not making a single dollar from it still, but if there is something, this is why curiosity is important, what you say, like what kids have, to try, like even if you feel like you're stuck and you're like working at that end job, and just, you have to first have the energy, right, to start something new. I already told you how you can do it, incorporating 5 minutes breath work every day. But when you start having this energy and the drive, you're like, okay, let me try different things and see. And I promise you, like, this is what happened to me. I when you have this something that you can call an occupation, or something that you're doing that fills you up, that you see it's coming, it's flowing out of you. It's, you can't even block. You don't want to block it, because it's fun. It feels good, and it's adding value to people. You have something to work on, my friend. You have something that you have to take steps to kind of mature it. Then there is no way you cannot succeed in life if you are doing it this way. I don't believe there's a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's just like, that's how Elevate 360 Challenge events came about. was simply like I needed to create a vehicle. I wanted to create a vehicle, I should say.
Yeah.
And that vehicle was, it was to a point where I'm like, I want to reach people. I want to talk about things. I want to combine my efforts with other like-minded people. I want to experience that, and it's not out there. I can't find it, so I'm going to create it. I was always that person. It's like, I can't play in your playground. I'm going to go build a playground over here. I can't work at your business. Guess what? I'm going to build a business bigger than your business, right? Like, I need that, right? And that's just who I am, right? And it's not to despite other people. It's literally because I need that. I must have it in my life. And so I've always gotten really good at creating vehicles to get me where I need to go, right? So Elevate 360 Challenge was feeding this part of my life, my purpose. It's time for me to start talking about this stuff again with good people like you and Shar and a lot of other people that we're bringing into this Elevate 360 event. And I wanted this to be something that's special. And so, yes, there's been a lot of hard work. I put in like well over 100 and some hours on this company. And, and I don't have a game plan. I just said, like, we're just going to do this. I'm going to fail forward. And I love that because I don't have a lot of time to focus on these things because I'm doing other 50 million things. But I know this is something that feeds my passion. And I feel like it's going to go and I'm going to be able to give it my attention when as it's needed. And as it gets bigger and bigger, I'll be able to give more time and energy to it. But right now, what's nice is, the whole website, the functionality, the live streams, figuring out the tech. I told myself when I launched the Elevate 360 Challenge events, I said, you know what? I'm going to give myself what I've been giving all the entrepreneurs for the past 3-4 years, or even go back 17 plus. I'm going to bring it all my skill sets together. And I'm going to give it to myself and us and anybody who wants to be in this wheelhouse, because it's time for us to create that bigger vehicle that other people can get inside of now, right? Before it's a vehicle where I'm in it. And then I expand, I got a passenger seat. Now Milan's in it. Then Char's in the back, right? We're having a good time. We're driving this road. We're like, where are we going to go, right? Hitting a few bumps, right? But we know what? Now we're like, you know what? We got to make this vehicle bigger. And so we got to expand. And so I challenge everyone who's watching this is find ways to create the vehicle. That could be a podcast. That could be a live stream. That could be a Facebook. That could be a social media account. That could be going to a job. That could be a nonprofit. I mean, you name it, it could be something. That vehicle that you can get inside of and use it to go places. For me, my camera was the vehicle at some point because I had a camera. I said, where can this take me? I can go to any business, any event, and in the business I could say, let me film a commercial for you. I don't have the money. It's okay. Let me just try it. Let me show you what this does. Bam, create a vehicle. There's an exchange. They like it. It makes money. That's cool. Now I got a career, I got a job, whatever. Or I can take the camera to an event and be like, hey, I got this camera. I can't get in the event. Maybe I'm broke, right? I want to get in the event. I'm going to do something. Can I take some photos and give it to you in exchange to go in the event? Sure. And I do that. Bam. Now I'm on this adventure again. Now they call me back. And I got all this traveling going on. So what is that for you? And podcasting can be the same way. Think about it with a podcast or like what we're doing here with an event. I reach out to Milan. Milan reaches out to someone else. We can get them on the screen. We can get them on the podcast. And now we're talking to someone halfway around the world, right, that has a different experience. We're building a connection, friendship. We're opening it to more communities. And we're growing that. And that, to me, is the adventure. Now, you don't have to go to that extreme with your life. But I can tell you, if you create the vehicle, maybe for you, maybe you haven't worked out in years, right? So what's the vehicle going to look like for you? Well, the vehicle might be just you simply just going, the vehicle is me publicly announcing that I'm going to lose some weight, I'm going to get fit, and showing everybody, opening the window up to let them see my life as unperfect as it is, as I fail forward, and let that community grow and let them support me or challenge me, right? And at the end of the day, they get to see my hero's journey as I go from from A to B. And then I grow my life and this becomes a vehicle. And next thing you know, maybe you got sponsors, maybe you got a job. If anything, you got a community who support you. And now you've lost the weight or you've gained the muscle or you've gotten in shape. In this case, you're listening to Milan and I, and you're doing your deep breathing, you're manifesting, you're creating the abundance to come into your life. And I'll tell you what, the more you practice these routines, these rituals, the breathing, the more you think and challenge this thing between your ears to do the right thing, to focus on the things and do the stuff you don't want to do, like the cold shower, the cold plunge. For some of us, it's as simple as eating a salad. I don't like salads. I'm not going to eat the salad. I want the Franken food, right? It's simple as going, you know what? I know I want this, but I'm going to eat this. And I'm going to keep eating this stuff until I like it, right? And when you discipline yourself to have that, your life really opens up. And I'll tell you what, then a bad day come by and you just show up to those bad days differently. Just like when you make a lot of money, you're going to show up to your problems, the same problems you have with or without the money. But with the money, you get to show up in style. Maybe now you show up in a limo in a tuxedo. Same problem, different way to show up.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's just, I don't know, man. I guess it also takes courage. Like you, especially for people, what you said, that haven't worked out in years, or they haven't experienced any, like, you know, joy that they think they want in life. I don't know why, but we are simply designed to, if we are to live a healthy, abundant, successful life, we have to go through regularly, you know, exchange of comfort and discomfort. It just has to be. And maybe part of the reason why is because the simple act of growing is perceived as uncomfortable, because growth is entering a new stage. What's new is something that's unfamiliar, and what's unfamiliar is something we haven't developed a perception on it. We don't know if it's good or bad, right? So that's like it feels uncomfortable. So anything you do, and this is something that I feel motivates a lot of people. It's also a risk to sit on your ass the whole day and not do anything. That's a risk too. That's gonna start feeling extremely uncomfortable without you doing anything. So might choose the pain of discipline rather than regrets.
Yeah. Yep. And motion creates emotion, right? We got movement, we got emotional ties to that, and we can do things. And when you get in that motion and that movement, your body flows, your life flows. You got to think about your life in a way of water, like flowing and energy and vibrations, and stop thinking about your life as social media, socializing, the to-dos, you know, the demand. Like literally think about it on a vibration and a frequency level. Right? If you want better to have your life to be more abundant, you got to raise your vibrations. You got to think lighter. You got to be more present. You got to love deeper. You got to talk, you know, we got to listen more, right? And I challenge everybody else also. There might be one underlining thing that is the boulder that's stopping you from moving forward or holding you down and makes you feel like you can't. And that can be you might have some trauma. And I challenge everyone to go seek out a trauma counselor or someone, a professional, and work through getting, whether it's a spiritual journey or not, work through getting some of that trauma categorized. Some of it you can let go of, some of it you can't, right? I'm still learning that. But once you learn to move that trauma in your body somewhere else to a spot that can hold it better or that can process it better, and you work with experts and professionals, man, I'll tell you, when that weight comes off, that could just be the reason why you have this small blockage, an energy blockage or emotional blockage. And you might not be depressed. You might just have trauma. Or you might not be depressed. You might not have trauma. You might just be broke. Okay, so you would just need to focus on where, and I mean broke, not just financially, but you might just be broke. Like maybe you don't have a good friends. Maybe you don't have a lot of family. Maybe you don't have a good job. Well, good news is you can change all of that. It's not permanent, right? You can, if you don't like your job, you go get another one. Right? Create
Yeah. You mentioning trauma, very interesting. I had a friend, she was on antidepressants, and she has a therapist, and she wanted to get off the meds, right? And she asked her therapist, like, hey, like, I got this idea. I have this friend, referring to me, like, he talks about breath work, he does breath work, like, what do you think? And she says, well, I can tell you that the best tool for healing trauma that we've studied about clinically for clinical psychiatrists, it is breathing exercises.
Yeah. Yeah.
Navy SEALs, U.S. Army soldiers, police officers do breathing exercises.
Yeah, because when you recall trauma, change your breathing pattern. If you can correct the breathing pattern, you start to dissolve the trauma. I mean, it's still, you know.
This is, besides the problem of discipline, people not being able to do the breathing exercises because they don't feel like it. The number two reason why people are not consistent with breathing exercises is precisely that when you start being consistent with breathing exercises every day, you're going to start moving the stagnant energy in your body. And that might, because some people might be familiar with the fact that we store trauma and emotions in our body. So as you do the breathing exercises, it moves the energy. It might move trauma,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna feel good. This is gonna trigger a traumatic response, and this people get scared, and this is also a reason why people quit breathing exercise, because, oh my God, this felt scary. Why am I feeling this? Is it because of the breathing exercises? So this is why, like what you said, it's very important to have someone that knows what they're talking about with you, guiding you on that journey until one day, hopefully, this is my goal with whatever clients I'm working with, one day that for you to not need a guide, for you to actually become your own guide. And I also like to add, this is a sustainable way of doing business. Why?
Yes.
Is because the more people are successful and healthier and happier, they're ultimately going to be more abundant with money, and they are going to be able to pay for your services. It's very simple. It's a win-win situation. And I admit it, I used to have a mindset, it was very like contradictory. Like on one hand, I wanted success for myself and I wanted the money and whatnot, but on the other hand, I felt I can't have it if others are successful too. It was a deeply engraved belief that I think it has to deal with like other beliefs, like, oh, money is the root of all evil and blah, blah, because, the country that I come from, obviously some things are good. I come from like an ex-socialist regime, right? Some things are good, but on the other hand, everyone always had like fixed income, fixed this, fixed like days off, blah, 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 blah. And you get so used to it that you don't even think about anything else. So that was the bad thing. And everyone was thinking like, once we transition into like, where we are right now with like, Yugoslavia breaking up and whatnot, it was turbulent, and then we have to change the way we think, and people do not like to change.
Yeah.
And it was, so it was a problem. But for me, coming from that here, and then becoming more aware of my being, my patterns, my thoughts, my beliefs, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm doing this to myself. Thank God I grew up, like beautifully, and, I picked up a lot of like good habits. But like seeing this, it is very, very important to allow yourself, like ultimately to just kind of round it up, to allow yourself to grow. And even though what I said, some days are not going to feel the best, but having this certainty of a daily morning practice, even if it's 5 minutes in the morning, this gives you certainty that even in those days that you do not feel, that you feel down, you're going to do it. And you are going to feel like you have this grasp or something that you're holding on to. This is the beautiful part of the morning practices, because it's this bodily feeling of stability and nothing. You cannot buy this. You have to work for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. I love that. And it's so true. And I want everyone to just move forward working on you. And that's what this group is about. That's what this community we're building is about, is that we are here to support you. It's a safe zone, safe place. And listen, like, if I have a bad day, I'm going to post about it. And I have, today was a rough day just because I had a lot of stuff going on, and you get overwhelmed with all the things you got to get going on. But you know what? It's okay. Some things just, you don't get to it. And you're like, all right, but this is going to have to happen another time, and like tomorrow's another big day for me, right? I got all this stuff. It's go, go, go. But I love that. And I'm not upset with it because I manifested it. I created it. This is my abundance. I'm in my abundance. And now it's when you find this abundance, remind yourself, and I'll leave you guys with this, remind yourself that you're designing the life that you want, right? This isn't just, I get it, and this is what we're going to do, and I'm going to have this job. Like, no, what is the life that you want to design, that you must have? And for me, it's, time with my family, doing everything that I want to do and getting paid to do that, right? doing things that impact people, meeting new friends all the time. Every day I need to meet people. I love this, right? And being more about my true purpose and living in that. And so I'm designing that life. And when you start to design your life, other things that show up that doesn't align with that, it's not a thing. You don't even think about it. It's just not part of it, right? You're not going to pick up that extra crappy skill set, right? It's not that, right? So I challenge everyone to practice, start there, comment something in the group, stay consistent in the group. Listen, if you don't reach out for it, no one will know.
Yes.
Reach out in the group, say it. Even if you said, hey, today I had corn, right? Today I had pineapples, like Milan the other day, he had watermelon for breakfast, right? Like, I was like, watermelon for breakfast? I haven't had that. Okay. So let us know what you're doing in the group. And you never know the conversation that'll happen. Who knows?
There's no stupid question. Absolutely, guys. Yeah. Whatever comes to your mind, really, like, share. And you never know, like, whatever, even if you don't have a question, even you sharing, who knows who's gonna like share back to you and what the revelation you're gonna have. Life is beautiful and certain like that. You do not know where your salvation's gonna come from, where what you need is gonna come from. It's like that. But you have to do it to that direction.
And listen, I'll say this part of my language, but I'm sure we're all just adults in here. But even if you go to the group and you say you just want to put fuck that, right? Just put that in the group, fuck that, right? Like if today's one of those days, comment below, fuck that. Okay, we're gonna know what you mean, and we might be like, yeah, fuck that. Like I want people to understand, like language is something that opens us up, emotion opens us up. If you don't want to say that, that's fine, but you can post anything you want in this group, and it's gonna trigger us to do something and work together, and that's what it's for. And I challenge you to go check out Milan's website, Milan. Tell them what your website is, where to go to. We'll post the link to it, but where can they go to find you?
Website is www.myfirstname.com, which is www.milanvracaric.com. We'll post the link to that, and there you'll find either an option to book a free consultation with me, or my coaching programs, or my book, or other useful info like my testimonial videos, or like a breathing exercise, or yoga, and stuff like that.
Yes, perfect. And for me, it's my name, ZebulonThomas.com. You obviously, my name's there. You can also find both of our links and Char's links still active on Elevate360Challenge.com. And that link is in the group too. And share it with others, right? We're going to do more of these events. We're going to be revamping the website to show you what the next event is. Milan and I have something special. We're going on a tour soon. We'll open that up in the group, and we're going to share that with you guys as we go. So you guys being a part of this group, you're going to have access to all that adventure that we're going on. And you're already in the group, so you get access to it. So it's going to be great. We have this amazing tour planned out. Connect with any of us. And as more speakers come into the group that we have on the events, that's just more speakers you have access to, and you can check that out. So also all the replays will be, if you go to the website at Elevate360Challenge.com, you can see past events now, and we've set that up so you can see all of the replays. If you can't find them in the group, you can go right there and check them out. And like this one it'll be there too. So I appreciate all of you guys for checking out this Abundance Unleashed with Milan and I, and there's going to be plenty more to come, where we have a whole slew of things planned for this year. And we just want to get you where you need to go. We're going to throw everything we can at you to get you to move. Maybe this one's not it. Maybe last one wasn't. But we're going to get you.
This is fun, and this is exactly what we're here for. We're doing our purpose.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will talk to you later. We'll check the comments, and we'll be in the chats throughout the week here.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Zeb. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you again next time. Peace. Good night.